Oh, hello there. This is the room where I do my little devotionals most mornings. Not every morning, but most mornings. Um, and I do this to get a little quiet time from the Lord, with the Lord. And one of the things I like to do is read through the stories of Jesus a couple times each year. And especially around Christmas time, the book of Luke is a great book to get into. And so I'll get some time alone with the Lord, read, and try to center my mind before the day gets going too much. And the book of Luke starts with the story of Jesus, and I just want to highlight this one little interesting part of the passage. So in Luke 2, verse 25, we get introduced to Simeon, who's just got two sentences in the Bible. But I find his story to be something interesting to think about. Verse 25. Now there was a man in Jerusalem whose name was Simeon. And this man was righteous and devout, waiting for the consolation of Israel, and the Holy Spirit was upon him. Verse 26, really interesting. And it had been revealed to him by the Holy Spirit that he would not see death before he had seen the Lord's Christ. And he came in the Spirit into the temple, and when the parents brought in the child Jesus to do for him according to the custom of the law, he took him up in his arms and blessed God and said, Lord, now you are letting your servant depart in peace according to your word, for my eyes have seen your salvation, that you have prepared in the presence of all peoples a light for revelation to the Gentiles and for the glory to your people of Israel. Just think about Simeon here. At some point in his life, the Holy Spirit reveals to him that he will see the anointed one, the Christ. That's what the Christ means, the anointed one. We don't know how old he is, but I believe he was an old man when this happens, and it's a normal day. And he had been waiting for some period of time, probably a long time, years, possibly decades. The Lord gave him a special insight that he would not die before he had met the Christ. And the Christ is the one that Israel had known about for 2,000 years. All of humanity was waiting for the Christ. And in the Christmas season, I reflect upon that story. And this man who had a little role in it all. Sometimes in our lives, we're the peripheral players. We're not the key point to the whole story. And sometimes God blesses people with a little bit of insight as to what he's doing, or he gives them a future promise. And so often we're waiting in the gaps. So often it's like, is this really true? We second guess it. We don't know what God's really doing. But so often we're sitting there waiting. We're in this period of waiting. And sometimes doubt might creep in. Or we become discouraged. We become overwhelmed. A lot of things can kind of come through our lives. And here's this beautiful little story. Isn't it amazing that God uses so many people in the nativity scene and the birth of Christ? And one of these guys is Simeon. I just wanted to share that with you because I was reading that in my personal time with the Lord and thinking about that a little bit, and wanted to encourage you as well too, because sometimes perhaps you're in a season where God hasn't spoken a lot to you. It might be in a season where you're discouraged because what you thought God might do, he hasn't done right in that moment. Maybe you're carrying a challenging season. Maybe you're in a good season. No matter what the season is, it's good to center our hearts on the Lord and to constantly remind ourselves of his promises. You may not have a direct revelation from the Lord, but you have God's will right here. It's here for you to find and see. And I've dedicated a lot of my life to spending some private time doing that. So here's just a little devotional for you, and I appreciate you listening to me.